guys, it's me, Pixie, your sucker for a D&D games doll artist, and today I bring to you a new custom doll. And not just a regular one, but a full-sized character of my customer from their D&D campaign. And yeah, literally, it will be a full-sized model of a character. So be prepared, today I will tell you a lot of cool things about this game. Because sometimes I'm kinda a dungeon master myself, haha, so I have a lot of things to tell. If you are new to D&D, then let me explain a bit. D&D is short from Dungeons and Dragons. It is a fantasy role-playing game, created in 1973 by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson. They created a book which was only 50 pages long, and those 50 pages started something very massive and mesmerizing. Have you ever imagined creating a world, locations, events, characters with their unique backstories and traits, breathtaking adventures, and being inside this fictional setting? Make life-changing decisions for your characters, where everything this character does matter, where you also have rules that make this game easier to navigate, where you can face unimaginable dangers and have to find solutions to come out of it alive. Well, not you precisely of course, but your character. So this is what D&D is all about. Mighty magic, unique worlds you can discover, hundreds even not thousands of variations of events. These 50 pages started it all for so many lovers of role-playing games. But as with anything, D&D has its background, a history. As with any crisis with motivation, sweat and tears, one of the creators of D&D, Gary Gygax, in the 1970s lost his job at an insurance company in Chicago. He lived with his family in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. He found a job as a cobbler just to make some earnings. Money was very tight, and his kids has to put cardboards in the bottom of their shoes instead of buying new pairs. But soon this should have changed. The game he created with Dave Arneson became a world-known phenomenon. Firstly, the game was popular amongst players like Gygax, who felt they hadn't yet found a place for themselves in the society. Those players often were considered nerds and outcasts, and were bullied because of playing it. But oh, little do these bullies know that this game will even grow bigger with time. Nowadays, it is one of the most popular games known. According to the new owners of the Dungeons and Dragons rights, Wizards of the Coast, in 2020 over 50 million people have played D&D. Various age, gender and status groups, so many people appreciate and enjoy this game to this day. This game became so popular that it is also moved to other mediums such as television, books and movies, and became an inspiration for hundreds of artists and creators all over the world. But let's look closer back to the creators of this game. Gary Gygax played war tabletop games before he started developing D&D. Strategy games that simulated armed conflicts. It was his main hobby. He also tried to design games of this kind and published them in the medieval-themed magazine Chainmail in 1971. Eventually, something unusual appeared in the rules of those games. Dragons fights, wizards playing mechanics, etc. Those rules were very limited and superficial, it wasn't welcomed that well at first. In 1969, Gary met Dave Arneson at the convention. He also was a fan of war games from Minnesota. Dave took the rules and added a flavor to it. He created a dungeon with the castle of Blackmoor. He created a matter, a meaning to a fight through this dungeon. He offered players to create their fantasy characters and delve deep into this twisted place with traps and dangers. Gary Gygax learned about this remarkable spin-off of his rules from wargaming communities, amateur press and newsletters. Soon after 1971, Dave made a 5-hour drive to Lake Geneva to play Blackmoor with Gary. Gygax was impressed and he asked Dave to share this novelty with him. Eventually they agreed to co-write a new game building based on both of their ideas. For the next few months, Gary and Dave shared information and gathered it into a prototype of D&D. You will hear a lot of different versions of this was the first game of Dungeons and Dragons ever. According to Gary's son Ernie, however, the initial run-through took place after school on weekday, and it was 2 boys, 1 girl exploring a scorpion nest and fighting a band of kobolds. When the manuscript of the game rules was finished, Gary began to try to sell it to the gaming companies, and none wanted to buy it. Most of money companies made out of selling miniature gaming pieces for war games. Rules themselves are sold at relatively low prices. Traditionally, D&D is a game that is played with a set of special dice, pencil and paper. Those dice decide how the game will go, how much damage the character deals to an enemy and many more. So the game had very limited options for money making for a company. You can't sell imagination, and they were mistaken. One company turned Gary and Dave down because they said no one would ever want to make their own dungeon. But in October of 1973, they found their publisher and partnered with Don Kai. Later, they brought on their investor, Brain Bloom. Initial 1,000 copies of the game saw the world. All the game's components were put by hand in Gary's basement. The game went on sale via mail order in 1974. Within a year, sales gained momentum. In 1975, all copies of the game were sold out just in few months. After the publication of D&D, a company experienced meteoric growth. Business was booming to the point that the company rented a house on the Isle of Man. But it not always was the bright for D&D. Before getting to the top, it faced many grievous obstacles, such as lawsuit between co-creators of the game Gygax and Arneson. Their bonds crumbled because of their different visions on how much effort was put into the game and because of money. A lawsuit was settled out of court in 1981, but Gary and Dave never fully reconciled. Or when in the late 1970s and early 1980s, religious fundamentalists argued that the game was corrupt and used by promoting devil worship, witchcraft and violence. The controversy gained its power with the disappearance of 16-year-old James Dallas Egbert in 1979. He played D&D. I will not go deep into the story because the topic is sensitive for this kind of video, but you can explore it yourself if you wish. A few more cases like this one happened later on, and this was enough for a game to earn a bad reputation for some time. Repeatedly, those theories were debunked by researchers, and links between violence and the game were erased. Nevertheless, it also boosted the popularity of D&D. The number of players increased to millions. Another one is that Gary eventually was pushed out of the company by his partners and was replaced by the new CEO. Till 1997, things were this way until D&D was acquired by Wizards of the Coast, a division of Hasbro. As a result of such drastic changes, it was no surprise that the game grew big. It went through many editions and transformations starting from 1977 till 2014. The most recent version of this game is the 5th edition, which is known as 5e, was published in 2014. Personally, I play 5e edition because it is the most recent one and I don't play D&D that long. It is convenient just to start from the latest point, you know. This edition of the game is designed in such a way that allows players to experience the game with the most simplicity and freedom, allowing them to be creative and less bogged down by charts and details. But if you want to play D&D well, it still has almost 50 years of history, lore and world-building components that are another kind of pleasure to discover. To be more precise, the recent Baldur's Gate game is just a little tiny piece of D&D world. Baldur's Gate is an actual city in the world of Toril. And the Baldur's Gate is the closest example of D&D itself. So if you want to imagine how it is to play D&D, try to play Baldur's Gate. In the time for the game's 50th anniversary, which will be this year, Wizards of the Coast plan to release a new edition of rules called 1D&D. The revamp is currently undergoing playtesting. At present, D&D is experiencing a new surge of popularity and I love it so much. I never thought that I would be able to play something this exciting and marvelous and meet new people that way. Develop personal qualities by playing and creating in this game. And more than that, during war I will have that much fun playing it. For me, D&D is not just a game, it is an experience. I had many wonderful hours playing it with my friends and my beloved one, and I'm looking forward to playing even more. Her name is Midnight Meadowlight. At her party, she takes the role of the cook. Her weapons are kitchen utensils. After battles, she is always curious about the taste of the monsters she and her party slain. Also, she loves to make cookies. She is not the typical fairy of her kind, and she has an unusual appearance that resembles bug qualities. Just as her bug eyes, forearms and moth wings that make her stand out from other fays. She loves her remarkable appearance even if some may consider it weird. She is confident and brave. Can't put it in words how much I personally liked her. I see how much stands behind this character, the whole world, personality and so much love. I hope you enjoyed listening to my story today and liked watching the creation of this little magical creature from the gigantic world of D&D. Embrace yourself, try to find your dungeon master and explore something new for yourself. Don't be afraid of the unknown, it may be hiding something wonderful from you. And of course, you can order your D&D character doll from me. Don't hesitate to contact me via Instagram or Etsy. And that's it for today, my dears. I will be back hopefully sooner than later, but that's it for today's video. And I'm sure there will be more D&D stories. I wish you to have a magical and exciting day. See you soon in my new videos. Bye!
Changing the seasons, a change in the wind. When you meet that person, you'll know what is meant by that. Where have you been hiding? So glad that I found someone to circle all the planets around. Now that I've found you, I don't want no one else. It's our story to tell. Now that I've found you, I don't have to pretend. Everything just makes sense. A change in the reason, a place to begin. When you change direction, you'll know what is meant by that. Where have you been going? So glad that I found someone to circle all the planets with now.